Yo, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? What are you listening to?
My favorite music ever.
Okay.
Try it.
Let me see. Is this just piped in engine noise?
Yep. Amazing, right?
Okay.
Stuff's lit.
So you think piped in engine noise is cool?
Yeah, it's what everyone was asking for, and it's here. It's amazing.
Yeah, okay. You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas. And that was James. And this is a 2-liter turbo manual GLI, and this is a 2-liter turbo manual Accord. Alright, no, I didn't actually kill James, but the crime of fake engine noise shall not go unnoticed in this review. And I'm sure you're wondering at this point why we didn't bring out a Civic Si. Well, it's because you all asked for this actually, and over again we've heard that the Accord Sport in manual form is a sporty, comfortable bargain. And we've already driven the Si a lot. So this is the Accord Sport. This spec does have a manual and a powerful 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine, making 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It's a fan favorite, and since it's an Accord, it's a roomy, comfortable sedan with lots of modern features. But the question we have is, does the Accord just have sports car pretensions, or can it deliver real driving fun? Because for just over $33,000 Canadian, this might be an excellent compromise between sport and comfort.
Or for even less money, there's the new GLI. And yes, we did get a little excitable about this car when we reviewed it at the launch earlier this year. But that's because for the price, it makes an incredibly strong argument. Not only does it have the GTI engine and a bunch of performance going for it, we're also awarded with brakes from the Golf R, which feel fantastically confident, and the theme of confidence continues with the limited slip differential, but it still offers the modern gadgets you want in a sedan. Heated and cooled seats, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and for some reason a Beats audio system, which can only really be explained away by the fact that someone at the VW offices said, "Ooh, what if we target this car towards millennials?" And someone else said, "Wow, you're a genius. Ooh, what if instead of calling it GLI, we call it GL Gen Y? He's so smart. Oh, what if we film the commercial with an iPhone? They all have those right now. That is particularly woke. That is so lit."
James, that's probably good.
Yep, fair enough.
Anyway, let's find out which of these you should buy if you're looking for a sporty, comfortable sedan. If you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing around. So subscribe and hit the bell.
Jetta GLI. Now, we were on the launch of this car, but it's been very interesting living with it for a week because I've managed to see what GLI culture is like, because there's a bit of a GTI culture. And it remains to be seen that there is one. I waved at a woman this morning in her GLI and she gave me the same look women have been giving me for years, which was just...
The Accord Sport. Now, we've heard non-stop about how good this car is. You guys love it. But largely because it has a manual. I'll get to the manual transmission in a minute, but we've already driven the normal Accord, but now we're in the sport version. So I'm gonna give this an honest assessment of what it's actually like to drive from a sporty perspective.
Okay, so obviously we've got the GTI engine in this, 228 horsepower, very turbocharged. Once you hit 3,000 RPM, it gives you that power. Until then, it doesn't give you much. But when it does, it goes. When you put your foot down in this car, you're greeted with a few sounds, not least of which is the rattle coming from the dashboard right now. I don't know what that is. But the piped-in engine sound we referenced at the beginning of this video, it is quite significant, especially when you're in sport mode. I get that it kind of gives you some feedback and it tells you what you're doing with your power, but a little bit less I think would be welcome. Without that sound, if you put the windows down and listen to the engine, it sounds very economical, which is good because it is. I'm getting 7.5 litres per 100 kilometers right now. Pretty good.
All right, engine. First of all, crap tons of rev hang. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is a 2-liter turbocharged motor, and it feels very turbocharged. I don't mind the sound. It's not super synthetic. It's very four-cylinder, and it actually pulls pretty hard. A little bit of turbo lag, fourth gear even, foot down at 4,000 RPM. There's a wave of torque. I don't mind that, it's nice. Is it fast? Actually, yeah, it's pretty quick.
So this is a manual. You can get it in DSG also, but I have the 6-speed here. The shifts are really nice, very purposeful. The throws are a bit longer than I prefer. I like a short throw shifter, but the clutch is heavy enough that I feel engaged. I'm pretty sure Thomas has been complaining about the one in the Accord. And the best compliment I can give this manual is that it's so easy to drive. If you're a new manual driver and you want to get in this car and you want to save a couple of grand over the DSG, it's not going to be hard to get used to. But while it is easy to drive, there is a little bit of rev hang, especially when you're pushing the car, which is not perfect. It's no WRX, but there is some.
Now, the big thing, this has a manual transmission. Everyone freaks out about that, and honestly, I'm impressed that Honda put a manual transmission in an Accord. Doesn't really make sense nowadays. No one's doing this. So kudos to them right off the bat. Now, unfortunately, it's not a good manual transmission. Sorry. There's actually not a single thing that I like about it. It feels like the shifter is connected to the transmission with a cooked spaghetti noodle, and the shift knob twists like crazy. I can't seem to tighten it down anymore. It's incredibly numb. The clutch has no feel whatsoever. It is fully linear. There's no point where you overcome the pressure plate, and there's catastrophic amounts of rev hang. So I'm having a hard time seeing a reason why I would want the manual version of this car. And I'm upset, because I wanted it to be good. It's not.
Now the ride in this car is actually really nice. It's not firm at all, which from a sportiness perspective kind of takes away from it, especially around town. But as we learned on the Dragon, and I've learned while driving it this week, this car rewards some aggressive driving. When you really push it to the limit, the steering weight's up in the corners, it starts to feel really sporty and you feel confident taking them fast. And thanks to the limited slip differential in the front of this car, I know that I can put the power down on the way out in a way that Thomas can't in that Accord.
How's the rest of the car though? Steering is excellent. Very Honda-like. Reminds me of the Type R. Not quite that good, obviously, but it's very direct. There's really no slack when I turn this wheel and when something happens in the front. However, the car is very long and the suspension isn't very stiff. So when I turn this wheel, front end does a great job, but the rear end kind of goes, what? What was I supposed to do? Oh, turn the corner, that's right. That said though, it's not actually that difficult to drive it fast. You kind of feel like you can just chuck it in and the car just kind of goes where you point it. It's impressive in that way, but honestly, it is what it is. It's an Accord first, Sport second, manual third.
And turning the car into a corner, it has that very GTI feel, you know, everything's stiffer in the GLI than a normal Jetta. Now this does have different driving modes. I'm driving in sport mode right now. What that means is the nuclear silos open up, everything gets nuts, the steering becomes no, it doesn't do any of that, because the sport mode in GLIs and GTIs of the new generation is the most gentle sport mode of any car I've driven. It slightly weights up the steering, but really it's about as sporty as I was in secondary school and the rest of my life.
Now, and I know you can tune these, and that's great. However, no matter what you do, it is fundamentally a long front-wheel drive vehicle, which means most of the weight is over the front axle. So when I put it into a corner like this, the first thing that gives up is the front end, and unfortunately, the Civic Si gets you a limited slip differential up front, and James's GLI has a limited slip differential up front. This doesn't. So when I stomp on the power in a straight line or in a corner, I spin one of the two wheels, and that just lights up the traction control light on my dashboard and doesn't actually put the power down. So, however, if you love this car, I'm sorry that I kind of just ripped it apart a little bit. What it is though, is a very good Honda Accord. At being a car for just cruising and driving in a straight line around town, picking up family, it's fantastic. Lovely to drive. It's quiet, the ride is nice and soft. It gets the job done very, very effectively. It's a great car. It's just not a sporty car. And now what I need to do is go remind myself if that GLI does hit the mark, because a lot of you have asked us to compare these.
Interesting.
What? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. All right, exterior styling.
Yes.
This is VW's Pirate Silver.
Pirate Silver? I think it's Pyrite Silver.
Pyrite?
Yeah.
That sounds more correct. This was more fun though, and don't
Yeah.
let my dreams be dreams.
All right,
How's that?
that's fair. That's
All right,
fair. Yeah.
So come around to the front, and we have
Red stripe, very cool.
red
I like
stripe.
It. Yeah.
It sits half an inch lower than a normal Jetta because it's sportier.
I like the look of this car. I know it's controversial. I think it looks executive and cool, right?
I love all of it, and it looks really sharp in the silver. I still have a problem with this new gen grille. It's
Okay, fine. I'll give you that. This isn't the 35th anniversary, right? So it just has a regular GLI badging and the regular wheels.
regular wheels, which is a shame because the other ones are dark with the red
They're very
stripe.
cool, yeah. Anyway, overall, I think it's a fine looking car. Not as cool as a GTI, but I think it's
good.
yeah, it is good. All right, Accord. Okay, so this is the Accord.
It looks good.
It looks fine.
It's executive looking, right?
Yes, I like the front end actually. Some people really don't like it. I think it's cool.
People have modded these. They've made them look really good.
It's true, actually. Yeah. Otherwise, there's not much to say. It's just a really long front-wheel drive sedan.
Yeah, it looks sharp.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interior.
Yeah. All right.
We've been to one of these before.
We have.
And I liked it last time, and I like it this time.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's quite conventional. Like they didn't go too crazy with the design or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's plenty of storage. I'm very comfortable.
Yes.
This sticks out quite a bit.
It does, but the screen itself is good. Like it's quite quick to respond. It's nice and sharp, and there's physical buttons and a volume knob, which is nice.
And it's redeemed by the fact that we have an espresso.
Oh, an espresso right built into the car. It's
Thanks,
amazing.
George Clooney.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Half digital dashboard, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure about that.
I like it. I like the fact that you can adjust this side and it matches that side. You can get your information over there
It's
or
not
your
even,
tack.
It's not even perfectly half. It's just over the.
No, it's kind of cut 2/3 over to the side.
It's like a.
Okay, fine.
It's like a yin yang that.
All right, I'll
got
give it
drunk.
to you. It's the cut trunk.
Yeah.
Okay, shift knob. Check this out.
Oh no, that's
What's
not
up?
good.
What's up with
Yeah,
this?
that's
Right?
not perfect.
Why is that spin? Anyway, you shift really hard, it spins. It's not cool. I don't like that at all. Otherwise, seats are comfortable,
Very comfortable.
right? Steering wheel's nice.
This sunroof is not as big as the one in the GLI.
Oh, really? I guess we'll find out. At least it has one, though. There's still a lot of headroom. Anyway, one of the reasons you get an Accord over a Civic or the GLI is because it's very long, so we should probably check the backseat room.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's very comfortable.
Huge amounts of space.
Huge amount. Not
Right?
years of headroom.
Well, actually, it's a fair amount. Like, I gotta.
But
Like,
we're short. We're
I'm
5'10".
sitting. Yeah.
Actually, that's massively tall.
That's right. Yeah.
If Tinder
indeed.
asks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got armrest, huge amounts of legroom. That's
Yeah.
my driving position, and I have like that much knee
Why do you
room.
have to say that so proudly? That's my driving position.
Well, I'm proud of it.
What?
It took me a long time to dial it in.
All right.
Okay.
These headrests are actually weirdly cool. They make you feel less crammed in because they're sloped.
Yeah, they're sloped. Yeah, no,
Right.
this is a completely acceptable backseat for any passenger, unless you're over 6'5", then you have a hard time, I think.
No one's that tall. All right, GLI. Okay, so the GLI is really good at giving you what you want.
Okay.
Like considering the price point. We have heated and cooled seats in here.
Oh, wow.
All right, and then
That's very
this is a digital gauge cluster,
Yeah,
which I think is meh.
I like it.
I don't mind it.
I prefer this to the half digital in that, even though
Yeah,
I like
but
that.
the analog in this is just as far. It's just as good.
Analog is good in this,
Yeah.
yes.
But
Steering
yeah,
wheel's nice, I do like that.
yeah. Well, they got the flat bottom because it's a sports car. Even though it's not
Otherwise, like this right here, in the way that it's kind of canted towards the driver, is kind of neat. But like overall, it's not nearly as exciting as a GTI in here. Do you know
No,
what I
well,
mean?
this shift knob is like you can get this on a base TSI.
Yeah. Like
Right.
like the GTI has its own golf shift knob thing. This should have had some sort of GLI.
I know. What's
version.
another sport? Like a hockey?
A hockey knob, like a
Hockey knob.
stick, or maybe a baseball. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. Actually, I was wrong. It doesn't have everything you want.
Okay.
It's giving you things you don't want, like a Beats sound system.
Oh no, not
It's,
good.
it's not. It just seems like a bit like a marketing thing. It's
is.
not that good.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like rabble. It's noisy without
Yeah.
being. I don't know.
That's fair. Back seat.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out. Okay. This is more crammed than the.
Headspace is similar.
Actually, headspace is almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
A little bit shorter.
but leg space is slightly more crammed.
Yeah, definitely. Like my feet are kind of stuck.
Heated seats.
Oh, that's very nice.
Do you have that in that?
I know.
Is that not more expensive than this?
I don't want to talk about it.
There we go.
Anyway, this is comfortable. These seats are comfortable, actually. I
Yeah.
do like them.
All right, time for you to drive it.
Okay. All right, the GLI. This is a better car. Doesn't sound much better because it's fake, but the engine feels better. There's less pitch and dive on acceleration and braking. It's overall, it's stiffer. Immediately in a straight line, this feels like a more athletic vehicle.
All right, let's see if Thomas is right about. Wow, that's some torque steer already. All right, torque steer, an incredibly light clutch. A bit of a wimpy shifter going on here, but like the GLI, it has the power to back it up. All right, let's see how it does with some corners. Steering feels good. Feels more natural actually than the GLI. I like it, not too much roll either. The Sport. It's the Sport.
This is a very good vehicle. I think that I would personally probably buy a GTI if I was going to shop for one of these. However, if you're looking for a sedan, this is a fantastic option. And yes, obviously it's impossible to discuss these two cars without mentioning the Civic Si. It's a very good driver's car. So is this though. It's good enough that I think I would probably take it over both the Si and the Accord because it has the upmarket feel of the Accord, but with better driving dynamics. So it's definitely a very good choice if you're looking for a front-wheel drive, sporty manual sedan. And as we've said before, this comes in at a really impressively low price, but do yourself a favor and see if you can buy one without some of these rattles, because this is actually a thing in here.
So, people love this car. Enthusiasts go mad for it. It's the 2-litre manual Accord and they put tons of power in it and go crazy for it. And with mods, yes, I can see how this becomes sporty. But until that day, this doesn't belong in the same conversation as the GLI. As glad as I am to have the manual, this is not a sporty car. It's just a good Accord.
Again, the Accord is a very comfortable, well-made car. But in its manual transmission form, it doesn't really come off as an Accord SI. As much as we want to say hashtag save the manuals, maybe we can amend that today and say hashtag save the good manuals. So while we would recommend the automatic version, know that if you did choose a manual Accord, you are still getting a very good car. But if fun back road driving is high on your priority list, then out of these two, the GLI takes it.